is if anybody has something to say about Gina, I'd really, it would really be good.
I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shock. Karen has something to say. But I actually wasn't gonna, but I was thinking about it this morning. And I was thinking about when I had asked Ted to say something, because our chairman couldn't be here, and of course he immediately agreed, but had that look of horror on his face. Like, oh my God, what will I say? And I said, Ted, it's fine. You don't have to pretend it's all good. Like, it's Gina. Say something about Gina, which he did. And I was thinking about when Denise was working on the memorial, and a friend of hers had called and said, tell me about your first experience with Gina. And I said, oh no, that wouldn't be appropriate. And possibly my first 5 experiences with Gina. Because we didn't hit it off right away. In retrospect, probably because we're very similar, and a lot of our not all that positive qualities. But I got to be friends with Gina because I was friends with Denise. And for a long time I was like, Denise, what is up with that? And Denise was like, no, you'll see. And I was concerned because the first time I went out with Denise and Gina, and we went out to dinner or drinks or whatever, and they were talking about how much they loved The Sound of Music. And I was like, oh my God, I hate that movie. Like, not only do I hate that movie, but that movie scares me. And they're like, scares you? I'm like, there's people in the dark running away. I'm terrified. Only then to find out that they love New York City, which also scares me. And this year they tried to get me to go to New York to see the Nutcracker, and I was like, those big, like, wooden nut-cracking nuts, like, I'm scared. It didn't look like it was going to go that well. And actually, mostly for a while there, Gina and I were friends because of Denise. And then Denise went and, like, got pregnant. And seriously, Gina and I were, like, thinking to each other, how's it going to go without Denise? And so initially we bonded over the important thing, which was margaritas, in my office on Friday afternoons. Because we found that Mike's made them in a cool little bottle that we could stick in my little fridge. Is Susie Atkins still here? I swear, we usually waited till Friday afternoon. Like, it was rare that we cracked those babies open earlier in the week, but occasionally Ted just drove us to it. And I still have a couple of those at home that will crack open at the appropriate time. Gina loved margaritas, so we bonded over that. And going to Applebee's and guessing how many people were going to have fake birthdays that day, and we were going to have to hear, it's your birthday! And then trying to figure out how we'd get Dr. James there so we could do that for her birthday, which we never got around to doing. There was a lot of things about Gina I didn't know, and I was actually surprised when I read her Facebook page how little I knew. Gina had so many interests. And she would say, hey, did you read that article in the New York Times this week? And I was like, yeah, the last article I read in the New York Times was the last one you gave me. And then the New England Journal, did you see that? Yeah, the last time I read something in the New England Journal was the last time you gave me something to read in the New England Journal. And when she would say that she was going away for a weekend retreat, I was like, do they have a spa? And she'd roll her eyes, be like, yeah, no. She's going to go see the Dalai Lama, sides of Gina that I just didn't know. And I'm sorry I didn't know those, but the sides I had were good. Like the margarita sides, good. Shopping, good. Spas, good. And even after Denise came back, I was fortunate that Gina and I stayed good friends. For Thanksgiving, she'd had some change in her plans. She was going to be out of town. She was in town. So I said, well, why don't you come have Thanksgiving with my family? And she thought about it. Can I switch call? Can I be on the labor wing instead? And said, yeah, sure, I'll come with your family. And so I'd asked my sister, can Gina come and have Thanksgiving? And she said, yeah, but tell her that I'm serving toast and popcorn. So I was like, okay, so I emailed to Gina, yeah, but we're having toast and popcorn, and Gina emailed back, I'll bring the jelly beans and marshmallows. And I was like, okay, this is looking like a pretty good Thanksgiving, but I don't get it. So I emailed back to Gina, what the face? And she said, Charlie Brown. And I was like, see, that was my Gina. She read the New York Times. She read the New England Journal. She saw the Dalai Lama. And she not only understood that my sister was talking about Charlie Brown Thanksgiving dinner, but she knew the appropriate side dishes. My Gina knew a little bit about everything. And I missed a big part of it, but the parts I got were really great. And she brought the jelly beans and marshmallows to Thanksgiving dinner. My sister didn't have the toast and popcorn.
Hi, my name is Denny Lewis. I was a college friend of Gina's, and I got to know Gina over the years. We stayed friends. She had actually dated a couple of my roommates, and that was about the time I knew she was going to be a doctor, because she really needed a lot of patience to do. I'm sorry. But Gina popped in and out of my life over the years, and as it is with people who have shared a special time and being with you when you're becoming what you will be, it always seemed like we picked up right where we left off. My wife was very fond of Gina. They hit it off immediately when they both discovered cat hair on each other's clothes. So Gina was a frequent guest, and as I often do when I have guests who are trapped in my house, Gina and I stayed up late talking and drinking wine, and then I make them listen to songs that I wrote. So Gina had to listen to the songs that I wrote while she was drinking her wine, and it was probably on the second bottle of wine that she actually asked me to sing one of my songs again. And I remember that because no one asked me to sing my songs again. But it was the second bottle of wine. So if you'll let me, I'd like to play that song one more time for her. It's called Frost on the Fields.
Summer's an echo, ghosts in the hills, with clouds on the west wind, and the frost on the fields. Indian summer, golden island still, a dream of a promise that can't be fulfilled. Warmth of the sun, where has it gone? Never an answer, nothing at all. A rumor of winter in the hush of the fall, left to discover what the season reveals. when the snow falls.